Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Shaheer and and yet again, we are going to be talking about CFA Research Challenge. If you know me for the past 2 or 3 months, I have been talking about this challenge on my channel, and this is purely as a way of giving back to the community. Because in 2025, that is last year, I was part of a team that won the global finals of CFA Research Challenge. And now I've realized that a lot of countries have now finished their local finals. So I've been receiving many messages from people who participated and moved forward, or participated or could not move forward, about either thanking me or asking me how to prepare for the next stages. So first of all, let's move to the presentation. Today I'm going to be talking about what to do after you have won the CFA Research Challenge local finals. Uh, but before that, congratulations to everyone participated. Whether you won or not, big respect to you because it takes a lot of efforts. I'm aware to put out a report and talk about it in front of the judges and defend your assumptions. Moving forward, how do you prepare if you have won the research challenge local final? I can try to give you some advice, or I can try to share my experience. So, how does the research challenge look like after the local finals? Please note that these are from 2025. These dates are not for this year. These dates are from last year when I was participating in the challenge. So please make sure that you are not confusing this with any official CFA materials. Now, I'm from Poland, in the sense I was representing a Polish university, that is Kozminski University. We finished our local finals in February, around I think mid or the end of February, and uh, and then when we qualified for the sub-regionals, it was on the 13th of March. So we had roughly, let's say, 2 weeks before we had to submit. So this was where we had sub-regionals video submission. Um, 13th March was the submission for us, and we got the information about what needs to be done on the 4th of March. So if you see that on 4th March, we were told that, hey, there is going to be sub-regionals, and on 13th March, we had to submit. So we had 9 days from the announcement to the submission, which was our time to prepare that I have said. So a lot of the teams watching this, especially if you have won the challenge, that is, if you have won your local finals, you are probably around this stage now. You are preparing for your sub-regionals. So this is how the CFA Research Challenge looks like after the local finals. You have a sub-regionals video submission. We will talk a lot more about it, but let's first see what happens after the sub-regionals. Once we submitted our video on 13th of March, we had to wait around 14 days, so from 13 March to 27 March, for the results. So for the teams that have moved forward and you are preparing for your sub-regionals, know that you will have to wait roughly a week or two till you will get your results from the sub-regionals, because the judges have to go through your videos and all the other administrative things that CFA has to deal with. So there will be a 2 week period of pure anticipation between all the teams during this time. Once you have your results, so in March you will have and complete your sub-regionals, you will move to the regionals, and the regionals is basically two stages, the semifinals and the finals. And we had our semifinals and the finals in just 2 days, 2 days difference. So the semifinals was on the 8th of April, and then right after that, the finals was on the 10th of April. So you don't get a lot of time to change anything. It's basically whatever you are going to go and do on the semifinals, you're going to do and go and do on the finals. And of course, after that, you win the EMEA, whatever. Is it going to be EMEA for some people? It's going to be Americas for some people. It's going to be Asia Pacific for some people, based on what region you are based in. For me, I was in Poland. It was EMEA for me. Once you win the EMEA finals, the final stage is the globals. And for that, you have roughly 1 month, let's say 25 days, because it is from 10th April we won the won the regional finals, and then 5th of May we were going to uh, Chicago for the global finals. I think this year the global finals is happening in Hong Kong. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but from what I remember, it is going to be happening in Hong Kong. So more or less, this is the timeline that we went through. And I'm showing this to you as an idea of what you can expect now because I believe that CFA Research Challenge usually does it at a similar time. So March will be your sub-regionals, April will be your regionals, and then May will be the global final. That's how the competition looks. Moving forward, who are you competing against? Yes. How many teams go ahead after the local finals? Let's move to the table that is on the left here. This again, please note, is no official information. This is based on my calculations and some of my knowledge, and this is totally based on last year's competition. I have no idea how many teams have registered, how many students are participating this year, but I just want to give you a sense of the scale and the magnitude of how big this competition is. And once you pass ahead of the local finals, um, how it looks like in terms of the competition against you. Uh, so last year, this is 2025, there were 1,000 teams, roughly 7,000 students participating in this challenge. Once, and this is like all the registered teams, and I don't know how many went to locals, but these were the registered teams. After you complete the locals, in the sub-regionals, this is official information which we received from CFA, that in the sub-regionals across the world, 140 teams were still participating. So if you see, it goes from 1,000 teams to 140 teams. So just roughly 10% of the teams, 10, 12% of the teams go forward. 90% of the stack is already eliminated. Hope I'm doing the calculations right. So, so roughly 10 to 12% will go forward from the local finals. And I'm just calculating this on a rough estimate based on five people per team. So roughly 700 students from 7,000, you have 700 students remaining. And this is what you are competing against now. And as you go forward, this becomes more drastic because you have 50 teams in regionals and then 18 teams in the regional finals. I'm not sure about these numbers, but from my calculation, it was around these for sure. So mm, these were the teams, and then those were the students, just multiplying by five to understand the scale. Okay, so now you know who you are up against. The competition has dramatically gotten smaller, and luck. So I had a conversation with the judge, which you can watch on my channel with Andrew Swords. He was talking about luck, and he said that as the competition progresses and goes towards global finals, the aspect of luck also diminishes. Uh, the aspect of luck, I think, will now be used because in the start you work on the basis of your presentation, but then as you go forward, it's all the best teams coming together, so luck starts playing a role. That's, I think, what he said. So you still have time to compete against these. You still have mm, the the level where you need to beat the other teams based on the level of your presentation and not just luck. Some housekeeping stuff as we before we move forward. Congratulations to everyone participating. Congratulations to everyone who won. You guys have done amazing. But remember, the job is not finished. You still have a long way to go. Next stage is sub-regionals. I would like to remind you something. So please remember, in sub-regionals, let me check if I started recording. Yeah, I did. Sub-regionals, you only need to submit a video for sub-regionals. You're not going to be going in front of the judges, pitching, and then answering the questions. And submission of the video can be early morning or late night for some teams. So please plan accordingly and submit earlier than later. Make sure that you know what time you need to submit and check whether it is Eastern time or Indian time or Western time, whatever, Central Eastern time, and make sure that you submit on time. So this is how the whole challenge looks after the local finals. Now let's move to past videos. You can see some of my past videos. I have shared how to win the challenge. I have spoken to Andrew Stotts, who's the former judge of the CFA Research Challenge. He gives you tips on what to do and what not to do, etc. Now, moving to tips, the first thing is, guys, your report is no longer relevant. It is not going to be judged from now on. You only need to focus on improving the presentation after the local final. In all the rounds, that 10-page equity research report is not going to be graded. So please move your focus away from that and only focus on presentation. You live and die off your presentation from now on. Let's talk about the sub-regionals, which is the next round after locals. It is going to be out of 80 points. Here you can see the point distribution 20, 20, 10, which is 50, and then 70, 75, 80. It's going to be 80 points and not 100 points. And the reason is the first point. There will be no questions and answers by the judges, and you will be judged only based on submitting a recorded presentation. And those 20 points from the Q&A will not be counted for sub-regionals, and hence effectively you only have 80 points to compete with. Uh, what I would suggest is you can update the valuation date. So because you still have roughly, I think, 2 weeks probably between the local finals winning and then submitting your sub-regionals, 10 to 12 to 14 days, depending on which region you are in. So if possible, try to update the valuation date so that you serve a fresh meal, let's say, to the judges who will be watching your videos. Again, sub-regionals will include sending a recorded video. Make sure you practice several times in front of the camera with the team. Transmit positive energy to the viewer. I'm speaking in front of the camera. I'm using my hands. Yes, I'm talking to you. I'm making sure that I have expressions, or if needed, I increase my voice. If needed, I reduce my voice, etc. So it requires practice because it's not a physical space where you will be talking to the judges, so it needs practice. Turn on the camera, speak, record, and see how it goes. You need to be positive, of course. I don't know how to explain that. I'm not a public speaking mentor. I'm just sharing my advice. But I think it's important that you transmit positive energy to the viewer and um, have that energy. Okay, this is super important. Um, the judges in later rounds may not know your target company as well as local judges did. So you need to be pitching as if you are addressing global or international investors. So what do I mean? Do not assume that the judges will have any prior knowledge of your target company because they are no longer the judges from your local region. They are international judges now because this is a sub-region. They might know your company if it is super popular. Sorry. They might know your company if it is super popular, but you still need to pitch your company to the judges as you would do to an international investor with no knowledge about the company. Let's say you are from, I don't know, you are from Greece, or you are from, mm, I don't know, you are from Mongolia, or you're a team competing from uh, Venezuela, or competing from Kenya. Me as a judge would have no idea about the Kenyan market or Venezuelan market or Mongolian market. You need to give your pitch to me as if I'm a 5-year old and I don't know anything about that company. So you need to adjust your pitch a bit. Instead of just talking about the company, you need to take some more time to explain it. So as I say here, take some more time to explain the business model, especially if it's not a straightforward business. Yeah, it's a business like Nvidia or a business like Amazon, which is not so straightforward because they have so many different operating segments. If it has several revenue streams, try to explain the revenue streams of your business to the judges. And if it has a global presence, even though you are, let's say, representing Greece, but your target company has an international presence, is making money in Asia, in Australia, and the US, you need to explain the business more carefully, take a little bit more time, 30 to 60 seconds more, and explain the business better. As I said, try to update the valuation date if you have time. Explain clearly what is going on in the industry in which the company operates in. Every country may have specific peculiarities in the industry it operates in, which will influence its performance and on which your assumptions might be based on. The judges need to know that. What do I mean here? For instance, last year we were doing a valuation of a real estate development company. Of course, a US based judge or a judge based in the Middle East would have no idea about the real estate industry in Poland and how that would impact real estate developers. So this is why we were cautious enough and we were aware that they need to be um, given this information before we start pitching the rest of the valuation and other things. We had to tell them that the industry is booming. We had to tell them that real estate developers are performing really good. The company that we are pitching them is the leader in terms of the apartments they are selling, in terms of the unit of apartments they are delivering, in terms of the total revenue of the company, and so on and so forth. So please give these judges in your sub-regional rounds more information about what the industry is doing and how this industry in your country works. Uh, this is an optional point. If you would like, you can mention USD or Euro for the key figures, such as the revenue of the company or the market cap of the company. The reason why I would suggest to do this is because everyone understands these currencies globally, regardless of being in the Middle East, being in Greece, being in Africa, wherever. So people understand USD and Euro more intuitively, and it helps them to mentally grasp the scale of the business. Uh, why do I say it is optional? Mm, I haven't seen many countries do this that do not operate in USD Euro. I don't know why. We did it only for the global finals, but I don't think we did it for sub-regionals. I would have to check my video submission, but I don't think we did it. But if I were to do it again, I would do it. You could say we are presenting target company ABC. This is a market leader in aviation instruments. It clocked in a revenue of 3.7 billion Saudi riyals, which is roughly 1 billion US dollars. So when you do this, you know that 1 billion US dollars will be an anchor, and they would understand, okay, this is a business that is 1 billion revenue business. And then you don't have to do it for other things, because when you say 20% margins, they would understand 1 billion over 20% margin is whatever. So it's good to give this one big figure in USD or Euro. Moving forward, make use of the judges' feedback you received from local finals to record the sub-regionals video, so on and so forth. So the feedback received in a stage should be the input in your performance for the next stage. I can give you here are some example feedback that we received, such as our investment summary sounds too biased. I would expect a more detailed comparison of competition, lack of table with key estimates, no reference to valuation versus peers. This is our feedback from local finance. And as we were preparing for our sub-regionals, we tried to make sure that we somehow um, improve our presentation based on this feedback. Of course, this is a bit nuanced because some of the feedback you might not agree to, because let's say this judge did not understand what you were trying to say, and he gave you a feedback to change something, but in reality, you already have that information included, or it's just not how the judge thought it was. So in that cases, that can be disregarded. But in general, wherever possible, try to include the feedback or try to adjust your pitch for the sub-regionals based on your local finance. In your sub-regionals video, guys, that you will be recording, I would recommend that in the beginning of the video, you mention the name of the university you are representing and the country, because it's only going to be, as you're seeing me on this video right now, this is how the judges will be seeing you on the video that you record. So it would be nice, instead of starting right away, hey, we are pitching this company, it would be nice to say, I'm Shahir from Kozminski University in Poland. We have brought to you a great stock from our country, which is Dom Development. This is a leading residential real estate developer, uh, clocking in the biggest revenues in the country, already up 25%, and we are issuing a buy recommendation on this stock. So, so something which makes or adds a personal touch. It should feel like you're talking to the judge through a camera, and they should feel engaged. So, as I say here, speak directly to the viewer. So, I'm speaking directly in the camera. Like a YouTube video, this was just because I'm making the video. Keep the viewer engaged and wanting for more, waiting for more. So, there are 5 points in this video. We are in the third point. So you know that what would be my fourth point. I'm not going to say it now. So, keep the viewer engaged for more. I just told you there are 5 points, so you know there is two more to go. Include questions, fun facts, be entertaining, but still remain professional and insightful. What do I mean by entertaining? It doesn't mean you go and dance in the video or you put memes on your slides, but more about the energy and how you're talking to the judge. You can ask questions. So why are we recommending this stock? Why do we think this is going to go up? Then go to the next slide. Bam, bam, bam. Give your points. Or you might be thinking, who are the closest competitors, or what mode does this business have? Go to the next slide. Bam, bam, bam. Tell them what are the modes of the business. What is the mode of the business? So use some questions, use some fun facts. Like fun fact, aviation industry has grown 40% in Greece, more than any other European country in the last 5 years. This shows why European Greek aviation stocks are going to benefit or something. I don't know. I'm just making things up, but you need to make sure that you are engaged. Fourth point, guys, brainstorm additional questions that can be asked by the judges and prepare supporting annexes for these questions. So start with recalling the questions that were asked to you in the local finals and add annexes for these questions if you think it requires additional information. Of course, in the sub-regional, the judges will not ask you questions. So it is important that you will make the pitch, the video that you're going to be sending clear, self-contained, and unambiguous as possible. Uh, I personally do not remember if we just send the video for the sub-regionals or we also send the presentation. From what I remember, it was just the video, but I could try to confirm with my team members and then put it in the comments whether we submit both the presentation and the video or just the video. But from what I think, it was just the video. So the judges will not have time to ask you questions. Well, will not have time, no, but will not have the opportunity to ask you questions. So you need to make sure that you are strategic. You don't give them any information which will be a massive question mark, and the judges will be completely confused. So make sure you try to answer as much as possible. Mm, one psychological trick would be you say something in your slide that would invoke a question, but then you answer it right away. And in that way, the judges will have this relief that, okay, these guys are actually answering the same questions I would want to know. Mm, And I think this is it. Brainstorming additional questions will help you for the future rounds if you win the sub-regionals. Having extra annexes, having prepared new questions will help you for the future rounds. And I would recommend to do this between every round if you have time to brainstorm more questions, more questions, more questions, and create annexes for those. Finally, the biggest tip, mm, follow the same speaking order unless a change is really needed. Your speaking script should be adjusted for an international audience. What do I mean by this? Is that if a person who was opening the pitch during your local finals, if that person is not comfortable or is not confident in doing it again for the video, because it's a different environment, it's not speaking to the judges but speaking to a camera where there is no one in the room, only then you can decide as a team on the best alternative. Yeah. Mm, But in general, I would suggest you to stick to the same speaking order that you did in the regionals. Sorry, in the local finals. So whoever started the presentation, whoever came next, whoever came third and fourth and fifth, you should speak in the same manner. Avoid changing the speaker unless there is a strong reason. Uh, and the reason why I tell you this is because everyone already knows their script and their section. And as you go on, you will only keep improving through the rounds. So it's important that you stick to the same speaking order. If you keep switching roles, yeah, if you keep switching roles and between one round I'm starting, but the other round my friend is starting, it's going to add unnecessary friction for you, and it makes it harder for the team overall to achieve excellence because within the team there is so much conflict and friction. No one knows that I'm sticking to this part, or maybe in the next round I'm going to switch to a different part. I think in general most teams stick to their part, but in in case you were thinking about changing the speaking order, think twice. I would recommend to not do that. I think these are five most important things you should remember for your sub-regionals after winning your locals. Uh, One frequently asked question is it expected to update the valuation date to the latest one possible, or is it even important to change the valuation date after the local finals? Um, from my point of view, which is basically a accumulation of talking to past judges, talking to past winners, talking to past participants, and my own experience of winning the challenge, it is not necessary to update the valuation date. However, if some major event concerning your company has taken place, a scandal, a corporate governance issue, an earnings release, it becomes comparatively more important that you incorporate that information and update your valuation and revise the price target if it has any impact. Uh, so, in our case, even though we did not have any big event or news concerning the company, we still tried to update the valuation for each round. This was only our strategy. We wanted to serve a fresh meal, let's call it a fresh valuation to the judges. Not a lot changed, probably just few things changed. Let's say the price maybe did not even move or moved by 1 or 2 units of currency. But it is just nice when you go to someone on the 18th of February and you say, "Hi, this is our valuation based on 17th or 16th," or let's say 5 days before. It's still okay. 5 days before the date of valuation. Mm. Having a valuation, let's say in global finals, which is May 2025 in our case, and giving them a valuation date from February or March seems a bit outdated to me psychologically. So I wouldn't tell you to update the valuation if it is like semifinals today and finals tomorrow. Like for example, what happened to us in regionals, semifinals and finals were 1 day apart. Then of course you will not update the valuation date. But in such cases, between locals and sub-regionals, between sub-regionals and globals, between sub-regionals and regional semifinal, you would have time to update the valuation date. So if possible, do it. If not, it's totally not necessary. And I think this should be it. If I don't know how much time I have recorded this. I see it here. Okay, 27 minutes. I think I would like to show you some examples quickly under 3 minutes of the changes that happened between our local final presentation and final, let's say the global final or even the sub-regionals. It was very similar. The changes that happened, yes, and those are mostly related to this part, which is that you need to be pitching as if you are pitching to global investors. So here is our presentation for the local finals, guys. This is the local final presentation. If you see, what is this business doing? I have no idea because it just says, Dom, let the numbers do the talking. It's kind of funny now. Mm. Because you go to pitch a stock, of course, at the bottom in small font, we say Dom Development is multifamily residential real estate developer. Yeah. But in general, we were on the local finals. The judges were from the local industry. They knew what Dom Development is or what Dom Development does. So we just wanted to show a slide with all the best highlights of the company. At 28 years in the market, let the numbers do the talking. They have delivered 53,000 units. They have 52 projects under the pipeline. So this was for the local finance where everyone knows the company. You don't have to give an introduction of the company. How did this slide change when we went to sub-regionals and even the global finance, where people would not know what a local real estate developer from Poland is? So I can show you that slide. You can actually see it on those websites, CFA winners, past research challenge champions, and of course you would know it by now. So that slide evolved into this. Right on the top you have Dom Development is the leading residential developer in Poland. Yes. You have those same figures, but that is just one section of your slide. It's comparatively not the whole slide. Yeah, 28 years for major cities, etc. 28 years and stuff. It's one section of the slide. You're trying to tell them, look, this is a developer. It is operating in those cities. Yeah, so it has four cities in my country, in Poland. Mm. You're giving them more information as much as possible just on the first slide to, hey, look, this is the business I'm coming to you with. You're telling them the revenue of DOM. You're already telling them how many units they have been selling. You're telling them how many units they're delivering. You're telling that this company gives you dividends. For the last 18 years, it has been giving dividends. You're telling them the margins right away. I don't know if you said it here. Yeah, we don't even tell the margins here, yes. But as an international investor, when I go to you, or as an international investor, when an equity research analyst comes to them and pitches them a stock, the basic questions would be, hey, so what's the revenue of the company? What's the margins of the company? Is it profitable? Does it give dividends? Where does it operate? And what does the company do, etc. So this is how it evolved totally. Mm. So I hope you understand mm, the the differences and how your presentation needs to evolve between your locals and sub-regions. Coming back, I think we can talk now. Thank you for sticking for this 31 minutes video. Yeah, thank you very much. If you are going into the next round and have questions, please write in the comments. I will be happy. I always reply to all the comments, so I will be happy to write a personal note to you. Some of you also wanted to do a short call with me, and I'm not usually always available or can make it because of the messages that I got. But I usually try to make a video to explain whenever I have more messages about a certain topic like this one, where people were asking what to do after the local finals. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best if you're participating. Wish you all the best if you're not, and see you next time.